There's a version of support that only works if the problem never gets fixed. Today, we're watching the people who live in those communities stop performing and start describing what they see with their own eyes. Obviously, no filters, no slogans as we always do it, just the parts that usually get buried. Now, I want you to listen to how racial identity gets treated like a locked room that only opens in one direction.
Proximity to black people. You will never be black.
Well, thank you for stating the obvious. Whatever shall I do without people like you pointing out the fact that I will never be black? I wonder if you bring the same energy for when men are cosplaying as women. No matter the proximity to women, you'll never be a woman. Bet not. Or how about this one? I wonder if they had the same energy when Barack Obama, who's half white himself, tried passing Kamala Harris off as a black woman, even though we know she's not. No matter if you make your collard greens in the bathtub or not, Kamala, you're still not a black woman. But hey, we're looking at literal Democrat voters, guys. They never make any sense now, do they?
So,
Proximity to black.
closeness doesn't count. Shared experiences doesn't count. You know, only bloodline does. Meanwhile, I put a little too much on there. I don't want to be glossy. But meanwhile, the same voices will lecture the entire country about how borders and identity are supposed to be fluid for everyone else. Seriously, that contradiction doesn't get examined. It just gets enforced. Now, I want you to watch what happens when somebody refuses the permanent debt.
All of the white tea people.
Well, this should be good. It's time to hold on to your butt cheeks. What's a YT person? I don't even post to YouTube. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, tell me how god-awful white people are.
Say, well, I didn't take you into slavery. I wasn't even born back then.
Yes? Oh, yeah. I knew this was gonna be good. Continue. What are we paying for today? The actions of white people from 161 years ago? Cause that makes sense.
Well, guess what? Newsflash. Honey bunches of oats.
Honey bunches of oats is schmackin'. Little sugar on it. Anyway, all right, lay it on me. What's the news flash? You're doing so good so far. Yeah.
You're still living off your forefathers' generational wealth.
What wealth? Is this supposed to not make sense? When the f did we get our generational wealth? I feel gypped. I'm not apologizing for dead people. I believe that slavery is despicable and should be abolished. Wait a minute, wasn't it already abolished? I don't have slaves. I don't agree with slavery. So I'm not gonna feel guilty or apologize for the actions of evil, crazy white men from 160 years ago, girl. Yeah, miss me with that bullshit. How are you oppressed today? Don't worry, I'll wait. No, yeah, common sense would say that we had nothing to do with that. You know, common sense isn't common anymore.
Yeah, we know that. Slavery was evil. Full stop. Okay? But treating it like an open invoice that never closes turns history into a political weapon instead of a lesson. You know, the people who keep the invoice open the longest are usually the same ones who have the least interest in what's actually happening in 2026. Well, whatever year you may be watching this video in the future. Now, this next one stops talking about feelings and starts talking about empty shelves.
I know the struggle. I was there. I saw it. So it's like, man, another blow to the community, and ain't nothing we can do about it.
Yeah, we have nothing. You know, so I don't know what we're going to do. There's nothing around here. No stores. This is based on the store you can come to. You know, that you get fresh produce and, you know, get groceries for little or nothing.
So reportedly, there are around 7 grocery stores in Chicago that are shutting down or on the verge of shutting down. And he said there's nothing we can do about it. In reality, a community is a sum of the people who live in that area, along with what they own, what they do, and what they produce. You know, if I was going to respond like the average black person would about this situation, I would say, you know, they're going to create food deserts and these businesses should not shut down. It's going to make black people's situation even worse. That is a bunch of useless lip service. In reality, black people can do something about it, but it requires people, black people, to become better. If you want businesses to open up in areas, there needs to be a reason, an incentive for them to open up a business in that area. That incentive is going to be profit. But if their people aren't safe, if they're not stealing, if people don't have money, why would someone open up a business to lose money? They have to invest. money, time, energy, resources into creating something, the goal of them creating that is for it to turn a profit. So rather than giving useless lip service, the question actually becomes, okay, how do we incentivize people to want to open businesses in areas where Black people are? And the simple answer to that is Black people becoming better. That is the primary thing. Less crime, more accountability, better decision-making when it comes to who they're having children with and raising children properly. Actually ensuring that your children aren't out in the community stealing and causing or creating a nuisance. Learning and teaching soft skills. Learning and teaching what actually allows a community to thrive and be successful. Teaching that, hey, when you go rob or break in or steal something from the community, you're not just hurting that business, you're hurting everyone around. Because when enough people do that, these businesses will close down. And now the people who were getting products and services from that business have to drive further to get them. There's no more jobs because that business closed. The tax revenue is gone because that business closed. On top of that, you're going to disincentivize people from investing into that area because businesses are closing down due to crime and their employees not being safe. The answer to what we can do about the situation is Black people becoming better. It's not the white man, it's not the past, it's not history. It's us becoming better and giving investors and people a reason to want to invest their hard-earned capital into Black areas. And right now, there's not a strong enough incentive. So rather than complaining about what we don't have, the question is, what do we do to get to the point where we can have? Now, there's a difference between something being simple and easy. I'm saying it's simple. I'm not saying it's easy. It's going to take a lot of work, but it's on us to become better and acknowledge reality. Anyway, that's all I've got for now. Don't forget I have a free email newsletter. I send that out every morning around 7 a.m. Central. The link is in my profile. I hope to see you there.
Now, food deserts don't appear out of thin air. Stores leave when the losses become permanent. You can scream about systemic, this and systemic that all day, but if the environment makes it impossible to operate, the business doesn't care about your hashtags. It just locks the doors. And the loudest voices about the empty shelves are often the quietest about the behavior that empty them. Now, we love the culture when it's entertainment. I want you to watch what happens when it's responsibility.
Here's the question. Why is the teen pregnancy rate so high in the Black community? I'm sorry, it's the 21st century. Everyone knows about birth control. You can get a rubber for 25 cents at a truck stop. Why?
Music. Anytime a conservative, particularly a white conservative, bring up an issue in the Black community, a Black person is bound to respond. Why do you care about Black culture? Why do you care about the issues in the Black community? I guess the question in return is, why don't we care? Why don't Black people care enough about the issues in the Black community that are clearly holding us back, enough to have a discussion about these issues? Why do other people care more about the issues in the Black community than we do ourselves? Many of the issues in the Black community never get resolved because we refuse to even acknowledge that they exist. If it were just up to Black people to talk about these issues, there would truthfully not be enough Black people with the mindset to call out the patterns of dysfunction within the Black community. Any Black person who bring up the number of Black children born to single mothers or the number of Black children raised by single mothers, the rate of teenage pregnancy, the rate of abortion, the rate of STDs, juvenile crime, the influence of rap music, any Black person who bring these things up is immediately shouted down by the majority who is completely content with the status quo. And when other people notice the issues plaguing the Black community, we want to sit around and disparage them for bringing it up and starting a dialogue in order to fix the problem. The reason most Black people are uncomfortable with these conversations is because it is airing our dirty laundry. It exposes the things that we have normalized as a culture. It would require us to look in the mirror and realize the cultural norms, the normative patterns of behavior, is what's holding us back. We can't blame anyone else. It would require us to do something about our moral standards. Many of the issues affecting the Black community simply start with the dysfunction in family formation. Considering teenage pregnancy, it is true that fatherless girls are 8 times more likely to become single mothers than girls who grow up with a father. Father absence is a significant risk factor when it comes to early sexual activity. It is the unfortunate reality that nearly 50% of Black children are growing up without a father. And then we wonder where these social issues are coming from. Because it starts in the home. It starts with the things that Black adults are not doing, getting married and raising their children in a 2-parent household. Rather than get mad at the social norms and the current condition of the Black community, we'd rather get upset at those who notice the issues and want to address it in order to right the ship.
Okay. Music, style, vibes, those get defended instantly. teen pregnancy rates, juvenile crime, father absence. Those get treated like topics that only outsiders are allowed to notice. That's actually not protection, in my opinion. That's selective blindness dressed up as loyalty to me. Now, this one explains why the last two clips make people so uncomfortable.
Want to know why white people tend to get ahead in life more so than black people? And I promise you, it's not because they're born white. It's because they have a superpower. That superpower is they're able to take in information from almost anybody without getting triggered. See, a lot of us were raised to treat certain words like landmines. Say the wrong word and the entire conversation is over. Nobody wants to hear anything. And what you don't realize is whatever truth was standing on the other side of that word gets left out the door. There is not a word in the dictionary you can say to a white person to stop them from wanting to get ahead in life. All right? They fight for their families. They ain't letting nobody stop them. Their mind is set up to allow information to enter. Now reverse it. Say the wrong thing to a black person. Conversation dies on impact. All right? No matter how accurate it was, no matter if it was meant with good intent, no matter if they were trying to stop you from wasting time, money, or years of struggle, you let the feelings take over. And when feelings take over, the mind is no longer able to learn anything. Let me tell you something, growth has never been polite. When you require messengers to be racially pure, culturally pure, historically pure, perfect people before you'll listen, you've quietly decided that a very small percentage of the world's information is allowed to reach you. It's the people who can sit through discomfort that end up with a wider field of vision. They get data from friends and enemies. They get data from people who like them and people who don't. That compounds over time. It allows people to see patterns earlier and correct course faster. There's a quiet power in being able to say, hey, I don't like how that was said, but let me still examine to see if there's something I can get from it. Successful people know. That sentence alone separates people who evolve and people who keep circling the same emotional territory they've been stuck in for decades.
I say whatever I like. I go wherever I like.
I don't care. If one wrong word ends the entire conversation, man, then the conversation was never about truth. All right? It was about control. The real advantage isn't skin or money. It's the ability to sit through something that stings and still keep listening. Most people never develop that muscle. They just change the subject. Now, the next one matches the title. All right? A black officer after dealing with a teen takeover. Y'all check this out.
Okay, I'm going to just get straight to the point. I had to re-record this video because I realized I had to police my tone. But here it goes. Black excellence doesn't exist. You can go and preach this black power shit, black unity shit. Black excellence does not exist. Because the shit that I seen tonight working my shift made me really throw my hands up with the black community and say, what the fuck? What the fuck? And I'm going to give you some context. So on my shift that I just got off on, I had to spend majority of my shift being called out to leave my municipality to go help another municipality, along with the entire South Suburban fucking police departments from different South Suburban municipalities of 30 plus fucking officers, from TAC units to K9s to just all different types of patrol divisions, had to go and assist another municipality for a teen takeover that consisted of 1,000 plus fucking kids. Spent hours trying to corral these kids to put them into one location so that parents can come pick them up. And in the process of doing this, I saw some of the most horrendous, horrific shit that I never thought I'd see in my fucking 36 years of living. Let me further explain. There were little girls out there with skirts so fucking short that you can't even call them skirts. They look like they were just covered in pieces of cloth. They had booty shorts, panties on even, where over half their ass cheeks was hanging out underneath those skirts, with fucking sports bras on, boobs all out, weave just down to the crack of their behinds, with 50 pounds of fucking makeup on their face, piercings everywhere, just out there in the middle of the street with portable speakers, stopping traffic, just twerking in the middle of the fucking street. You had little boys out there, pants hanging all off they behind. Half of them look like they don't even wash they behind, just looking crusty and musty and all of the things. You got kids out there.
Now, she's not a conservative commentator. She's not online looking for likes, it seems. She's a cop who just finished the shift working and watching 13 to 16-year-olds throw gang signs, smoke, and destroy property. And then she said the quiet part that gets people fired. Black excellence does not exist as a blanket statement. And then she went further and called out the parents who know exactly where their kids are and still do nothing. I don't think this is hate. This is exhaustion from watching the same cycle repeat while all the slogans stay the same. Now, we've been sold a story that every bad outcome is proof of someone else's failure, and every hard truth is proof of disloyalty. That story keeps a lot of people employed. It also keeps a lot of neighborhoods stuck. Excellence is not a slogan. It's the result of decisions that get made when nobody is watching. Parents who show up, stories that can stay open, conversations that don't end the second they get uncomfortable. Young men who aren't left to raise themselves in the streets at 14. You know, you can keep the music and the style and the pride. Those things matter. But if the only thing we get, but the only time, not the only thing we get loud over, the only time we get loud is when a criticism comes from outside, then we're not protecting the culture. We're protecting the problem. The officer in that last clip wasn't trying to go viral, in my opinion. You know, she was tired of lying to herself. In a second, we decide that fatigue is more valuable than slogans. Things starts moving. So, if you made it to the end of this video, I want you to write the word ownership if this one hit different. For each will have to bear his own load. This is Galatians 6 and 5, y'all. Y'all be safe. Go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.